Hi, so today we are going to talk about division algorithm for polynomials. Things like how does the division algorithm for polynomials work? Why does it work? Where is it used? What can we find out using the division algorithm for polynomials? And we are also going to do some questions on polynomial division. So without wasting any further time, let's get into the video straight away. Come on, let's nail it. So like I said, today we are going to talk about division algorithm for polynomials. Well, but did you know that there is a division algorithm for numbers as well? There is, and let me explain what it is. So let us take a number, an example, say the number 264, and let's divide that number by 9. Well, so obviously to divide, we see that the dividend is 264. We write that inside the box. 9 being the divisor is written outside the box. Then 9 doesn't go into 2, so we take 2 digits, 26, and 9 goes into 26 2 times. So 2 comes in the quotient, 9 times 2 is 18, 18 comes below the 26. We subtract it, we get 8. Bring the next number down, which is 4, we get 84, and 9 goes into 84 9 times, so 9 goes into the quotient, and 9 times 9, 81 comes below 84. We subtract it and we get 3. Now there's no number to bring down, so obviously we will have to stop the division right here. And let's have a look at what all do we have now. So this number 264, as I told you, this is the dividend. So the number which is being divided is called the dividend. 9 is the divisor, which means that the number with which you divide is called the divisor. This 29 that we have got here, that is called the quotient. And this number at the bottom, 3, is called the remainder. Well, so now let's look at this number again, 264. Now this 264, once we have divided it by 9, we can also write 264 as the product of the divisor and the quotient, which means 9 times 29, and 9 times 29, if we actually multiply and see, it gives you 261. But we have got a remainder of 3 also, so we add the remainder to it and we get 264. So 9 times 29 is 261, plus 3 gives us 264. So we can say that this 264, which was our dividend is equal to 9 was our divisor, times 29, and 29 in this case was our quotient, plus 3, which is the remainder. So we can say that dividend is equal to divisor times the quotient plus remainder. Well, that is the division algorithm. It's as simple as that. And like any other equation, this also is an equation, and if you've got one unknown and the rest are known, you can always find that unknown. So that essentially means that if the dividend is unknown and the other 3 are known, you can find what the dividend is. Or if the divisor is unknown and the other 3 are known, you can find out what the divisor is. But a very interesting thing also happens in this, that if you know the dividend and the divisor both, then you can find the other 2. So you can actually do long division of polynomials and find out what the quotient is and what the remainder is. And we are going to look at a few problems now and understand how to find the unknowns in this equation. So first of all, before doing any questions, let us write the division algorithm for polynomials on top, because we are going to use it in every question. So we can say that dividend is equal to divisor times the quotient plus remainder. So the first question that we have is, find the polynomial which when divided by x minus 1 gives a quotient of x square minus x minus 6 and leaves no remainder. Now before we start doing this question, let me tell you that this division algorithm for polynomials is very similar to the division algorithm for numbers, and you must have already heard about Euclid's division lemma because you have done that too. And actually there is no difference between Euclid's division lemma and the division algorithm. This also has been given by Euclid only, and no wonder that it's also called the Euclidean Division Algorithm. And according to the Euclid's division lemma or the Euclidean division algorithm, we know that A is equal to BQ plus R, where A is the dividend, B is the divisor, Q is the quotient, and R is the remainder. And by the way, if you haven't heard about Euclid's division lemma, I've just linked a video right here. Just click on the link and you can have a look. Now let's have a look at the question again. Find the polynomial which, when divided by x minus 1, gives a quotient of x squared minus x minus 6 and leaves no remainder. So if we read it carefully, find the polynomial which, when divided by x minus 1, so which means when we divide it by x minus 1, which clearly means that x minus 1 is our divisor, which means that b will be equal to x minus 1, gives a quotient of x square minus x minus 6. So that's pretty clear that quotient q will be equal to x square minus x minus 6 and leaves no remainder, which means that remainder r will be equal to 0. And find the polynomial, which means that what we have to find out is the dividend, which means a is equal to what. So well, according to the division algorithm, what we have is that a is equal to bq plus r. Let's plug in the values. So a is unknown, let's write it as a only. On the right hand side we have got b is equal to x minus 1 times q, and q is equal to x square minus x minus 6 plus r, and r happens to be 0. So obviously this means that we have to multiply these two. So let's take x, multiply it by the complete thing here. So within brackets we'll write x square minus x minus 6. Then we take the other term minus 1 and multiply by the complete thing, x square minus x minus 6, and we have to add 0 to it, so plus 0. So opening the brackets, what we get is x cube minus x square minus 6x, and minus 1 times x square will give us minus x square, minus 1 times minus x will give us plus x, and minus 1 times minus 6 will give us plus 6. And because 0 means nothing, let's ignore the 0. So simplifying this and combining the like terms, we get x cube and minus x square makes it minus 2x square, and minus 6x plus x makes it minus 5x plus 6. So that means our dividend, or a, is equal to x cube minus 2x square minus 5x plus 6. Well, wasn't that easy to understand? Pretty simple to do, isn't it? And you know what? If you've liked the video so far, I would really appreciate if you could just give a thumbs up button to the video. You can find the thumbs up button below the video. Just click on it, like the video, leave a comment if you want to. I would really appreciate that. And let's move on to the second question now. So the second question says, find the quotient and the remainder when the polynomial 3x cube minus 10x square minus 27x plus 10 is divided by 3x minus 1. Well, so here we have it. I told you right in the beginning that when the dividend and the divisor is known, you can find the two unknowns there, which means you can easily find what the quotient is and what the remainder is. So let's find it out. So we know that we have to find the quotient and the remainder, so we can write so that quotient is equal to what and remainder is equal to what. Then we see that when this polynomial is divided, which means the number or the polynomial which is divided is the dividend, and dividend in our division algorithm is a. So a is going to be 3x cube minus 10x square minus 27x plus 10. So the number by which we divide, or the polynomial by which we divide, is always called the divisor. So divisor, which means b, will be equal to 3x minus 1. Well, so to find out the quotient and the remainder, all we have to do is just long divide these two polynomials, the dividend by the divisor, find out what the quotient is, what the remainder is. And if you don't know what the long division method of polynomial division is, there's a video for that also, which is linked right up here. Just click on the link and watch the video. So we write this dividend, 3x cube minus 10x square minus 27x plus 10. This has to be written inside the box because this is the dividend, and the divisor, which is 3x minus 1, has to be written outside the box. So 3x cube divided by 3x gives us x square. X square goes in the quotient. We multiply the quotient by the divisor, so x square times 3x gives us 3x cube. X square times minus 1 gives us minus x square. Since we have to subtract it, this becomes negative, this becomes positive. The 3x cube can now get cancelled, and we've got minus 10x square plus x square, which makes it minus 9x square. The rest of the polynomial comes down as it is, minus 27x plus 10. So again, minus 9x square divided by 3x gives us minus 3x. So minus 3x goes into the quotient. This has to be multiplied by the divisor again. Minus 3x times 3x gives us minus 9x square, and minus 3x times minus 1 gives us plus 3x. And since we have to subtract, this becomes positive, this becomes negative. The 9x square can now get cancelled out, and minus 27x minus 3x gives us minus 30x, and the plus 10 can come down as it is. So minus 30x divided by 3x gives us minus 10. Minus 10 goes into the quotient. Minus 10 times 3x gives us minus 30x. Minus 10 times minus 1 gives us plus 10. We subtracted, this becomes positive, this becomes negative, this gets cancelled and this gets cancelled, so we are left with a remainder of 0. And now we have found out what the quotient is and what the remainder is, so just let's write it down. Well, let me remove these question marks, and since I have to write the quotient also, I need a little bit of space, so let's shift this a little to the right, and now we can write the quotient, which is x square minus 3x minus 10, and the remainder obviously is 0. Right, so here we are. So you know what, I keep doing a lot of this stuff on my channel. In fact, if you have a look at my channel, at the other videos, I do a lot of videos on something that you study. I'm doing it for you so that you understand things better and what you can do to help yourself. And by the way, it will help me as well, is that you can subscribe to the channel, and you can do so by clicking on the subscribe button below the video. And also do not forget to press on the bell notification also, because that will ensure that each future upload is sent right into your inbox. I would really appreciate that. And let me tell you, that is the difference you will make to your learning. You will learn things much better, because we don't talk about only how to do it, we also talk the why behind it, which is most important. What happens, why does it work? So once you understand those things, it becomes really simple for you. Right, let's move on to the next question now. Right, so the next question is that if x minus 1 is a factor of the polynomial 2x cubed plus 3x square minus 8x plus 3, find the zeros of the polynomial. Well, by zeros, it means those values of x for which the polynomial will equal to 0, which are also called the roots of the polynomial. So one thing is pretty clear from this question, that if x minus 1 is a factor, it means that it leaves no remainder. So remainder, we can straight away write it as 0. And when x minus 1 is divided by this polynomial, so this polynomial being divided will be our dividend, which is a. So a will be equal to 2x cubed plus 3x square minus 8x plus 3. And b, obviously we know we are dividing it by x minus 1, so b, the divisor, will be equal to x minus 1. And since we have to find the zeros of the polynomial, and we know that this is a cubic polynomial, so it will have 3 zeros. Well, 1 0 is already known, so we know that x minus 1 is a factor, which means we can equate the factor equal to 0. So x minus 1 will be equal to 0, which when 1 is taken to the other side, we can say that x is equal to 1. So to find out the zeros, what we do is we take the equation and equate it to 0. So since x minus 1 is a factor and we have got some quotient, so the product of those two is going to be 0, which means either x minus 1 is equal to 0, or the other thing, the quotient that we get, that will be equal to 0. Simple logic, isn't it? Because then only if the product of two numbers can only be 0 if one of the numbers is 0. So if x minus 1 is equal to 0, we can take 1 to the other side and we get x is equal to 1, which clearly tells us that one of the zeros of the polynomial is 1. And since it's a cubic polynomial, and I told you it will have 3 zeros, so we can say alpha, the first root, will be equal to 1. We have to find what the value of beta is and what the value of gamma is. Well, so to find it out, we do the long division method again. So we write the dividend inside the box, which is 2x cubed plus 3x square minus 8x plus 3, that has to be written inside the box, and the divisor x minus 1 comes outside the box. So 2x cubed divided by x gives us 2x square. 2x square goes into the quotient. We multiply this by the divisor. So 2x square times x gives us 2x cubed. 2x square times minus 1 gives us minus 2x square. We write that, we subtract it, so this becomes negative, this becomes positive. The 2x cube can now get cancelled out, and we are left with 3x square plus 2x square, which makes it 5x square, and the rest of the polynomial minus 8x plus 3 can come down as it is. So 5x square divided by x gives us plus 5x goes into the quotient. We multiply this by the divisor again, so plus 5x times x gives us 5x square. 5x times minus 1 gives us minus 5x. We subtract it, this becomes negative, this becomes positive. The 5x square can now get cancelled out, and we are left with minus 8x plus 5x, which gives us minus 3x, and the plus 3 can come down as it is. Then obviously minus 3x divided by x gives us minus 3. Minus 3 goes into the quotient. Multiplying the quotient by the divisor again, minus 3 times x gives us minus 3x, and minus 3 times minus 1 gives us plus 3. We subtract it, this becomes positive, this becomes negative. Both of them get cancelled out, and we are left with the remainder of 0. So we've got the remainder equal to 0 now, and the quotient is a quadratic polynomial which is 2x square plus 5x minus 3. And since we have to find the other zeros, we can just factorize this quadratic polynomial and find out what the other zeros are. Well, so to factorize, what we are looking at is the product of a and c. So 2 times 3 gives us 6, and we are looking at a factor pair or two numbers which when added together gives us plus 5x, but which when multiplied together give us minus 6. So obviously factorizing it is pretty simple, and if you don't know how to factorize, there's another video linked right up here. Click on that video to watch how to easily factorize quadratic equations. Well, so it's pretty clear what the factor pair is going to be. So we can write x square plus 6x minus x, because plus 6x minus x makes plus 5x, and minus 3. So from the first two terms we can factorize out 2x. We are left with x plus 3, and in these two terms we can factorize out minus 1, and again we are left with x plus 3. Again in these two terms x plus 3 can be taken as common, and we are left with 2x minus 1. Now to find the zeros, this has to be equated to 0, which means the product of two numbers again. If it is 0, that means one of the numbers is 0, so we can write that x plus 3 is equal to 0, or we can say that 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. And simplifying it, finding the value of x, taking 3 to the other side, we get x having a value of minus 3, or in this case we can say 1 goes to the other side and 2 gets divided, so x will be equal to 1 by 2. So we have the other two zeros as well. We can write beta is equal to minus 3 and gamma is equal to 1 by 2. Right, so the next question that we have, it says find all the zeros of the polynomial x to the power 4 plus x cubed minus 23x square minus 3x plus 60 if two of its zeros are root 3 and negative root 3. Well, so let's write down what has been given to us. So we know that the polynomial which has to be divided, or the factors of which have to be found out, is obviously our a. So that is equal to x to the power 4 plus x cubed minus 23x square minus 3x plus 60. And two zeros are given, so that means x is equal to root 3 or x is equal to negative root 3. Now obviously we can find the factors using the factor theorem. So x is equal to root 3. We can bring root 3 to the other side. So we are left with x minus root 3 is equal to 0. And in this case, x plus root 3 is equal to 0. Now since both these are equal to 0, that means these are the factors of the polynomial. And if these two are the factors of the given polynomial, then the product of these two will also be a factor of the polynomial. And if we find the product of these two, it will give us our divisor, which is equal to b. So we can say that b will then be equal to this multiplied by this. And since it's in the form a minus b times a plus b, we can say it's a square minus b square, or in this case it will become x square minus the square of root 3, which is 3. So x square minus 3 is equal to b. Now, obviously, what we are interested in finding out is what the quotient is, so we can divide this polynomial by the divisor. So, writing the dividend, we can say x to the power 4 plus x cube minus 23x square minus 3x plus 60. That is the dividend that goes inside the box, and the divisor, which is x square minus 3, goes outside the box as the divisor. So x to the power 4 divided by x square gives us x square goes into the quotient, multiplying it, we get x square times x square gives us x to the power 4, and x square times negative 3 gives us minus 3x square, that goes below the x square term. We have to subtract this, so this becomes negative, this becomes positive, the x to the power 4 gets cancelled out, and what we are left with is x cube, and here minus 23x square plus 3x square gives us minus 20x square, and the rest of the polynomial minus 3x plus 60 comes down as it is. Now again, x cube divided by x square gives us plus x goes into the quotient, and plus x times x square gives us x cube, and plus x times minus 3 gives us minus 3x, as that can be written down below the minus 3x. Since we have to subtract it, this becomes negative, this becomes positive, both of them can be cancelled out, and we are left with minus 20x square plus 60. Now minus 20x square divided by x square gives us minus 20, minus 20 goes into the quotient, multiplying it we get minus 20x square plus 60. Subtracting it, this becomes positive, this becomes negative, both of them get cancelled out, and we are left with a remainder of 0. That means our quotient is equal to x square plus x minus 20, and again it's a quadratic polynomial, we have to find the zeros. Now what we are needing to find out is the zeros of the polynomial, all the zeros, and since it's a quartic polynomial or a biquadratic polynomial, it has to have 4 zeros. So we can say that 2 zeros are already known, so we can rename this as alpha and this as beta, and what we need to find out is the third zero gamma, and the fourth zero, let's say it's delta. So again, to find gamma and delta, we need to factorize this quadratic polynomial. So we are looking for a factor pair which when multiplied together gives us minus 20, but when added together gives us plus 1. So since pretty clearly the factors are going to be minus 4 and plus 5, so we can write x square minus 4x plus 5x minus 20, and that should be equal to 0 because minus 4x plus 5x gives us plus x, and within the first two terms I can factorize out x very clearly, so I'm left with x minus 4, and in the next two terms I can see that plus 5 can be factorized out, so plus 5, and that again leaves me with x minus 4. So x minus 4 is common in both these terms again, and I am left with x plus 5 as the other factor, that is equal to 0. Now again, since the product of these two numbers is equal to 0, that means either one of these numbers is equal to 0 or both these numbers are equal to 0. So which means we can equate both of these equal to 0. So x minus 4 is equal to 0 or x plus 5 is equal to 0. We can take these numbers to the other side, which leaves us with the value of x is equal to 4, or in this case x is equal to minus 5. So pretty clearly we already had two zeros with us, which were root 3 and minus root 3, and the third zero gamma we can say will be equal to 4, and the fourth zero delta will be equal to negative 5. Well, so that was that. Pretty easy to do and pretty simple to do. And if you do not understand anything out of it, all you can do is just look up for the email ID that is given in the description box of the video. Shoot out an email to me. I'll explain it to you. I'll get back to you with the video, or I will reply to your email personally, and I'm sure you'll understand it. But for now, there are other important things to do, and that is that if you want to continue your learning experience, this is a really interesting video that I've linked right up here. Click on this video to continue your learning experience, and also do not forget to click on my picture here because that will get you subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell as well, and do not forget to watch this video, which has been rated by YouTube as the best video for your choice. And I'll see you in one of these videos. So take care. God bless.